story short, I don't care. I want to race the sprint. I know I'm probably going to get dead last. I just want to race it. So they went and taped my arm up, locked it in this position. And I was so I couldn't use my arm. And the next day, so I had one off day, we practiced on the erg. The next day was the sprint. And that was the race I got my first gold medal in at the Paralympic Games.
Can I hug you?
Hello, hello. Welcome to the show. Hawk v. Wolf.
Oksana?
Yes.
And we're here with...
Because if I say Oksana...
It's Russian.
It's Russian, you idiots.
And I'm Ukrainian.
Yeah, and she's... Hello.
We're with Ukrainian Oksana Masters.
Nice.
And I don't even know how to... You have too many titles. And it's too... I feel like anything I'd say would insult you. So
Olympian's good.
Olympian, yes.
Yeah.
Paralympian.
How many medals in total?
17.
Do you know how gnarly you are?
Very decorated Paralympian.
But when you say how many medals in total, and they go like that with their eyes, let's see, because it's been a few. I'm like, that's awesome.
And what is that you're looking at? What are you thinking? How many? Oh, what year? Or was it?
No, because just recently between Tokyo and Beijing, it was. What was it? I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't count medals.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
You don't know how many you won in Beijing.
Well, because I don't count the medals. In Beijing I won.
What do you mean you don't have the medals?
Well, I don't count the medals. So in Beijing I won 7.
You got them at home, right?
Yes, but
do you put them anywhere, or are they just stash his victories where it's just in the garage? Oh, well, look at that! I won some shit.
I'm kind of telling you.
Right, yeah, okay.
Yeah. There was an event I had to go to, and they were like, can you bring your gold medals? And I was like, my boyfriend Aaron was like, oh my God, I can't find the medals at all. And so I had a couple, but then not all of them. And I ended up finding under the sock, under a closet.
I guess you guys can look for those when it's truly over. You know? When you've got nothing else to do because you can't do what you were doing. Let's go to the garage and reminisce.
We're gonna Uncle Rico our way into retirement.
You'll be calling people like, Jason, come over, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to go to your garage and hear about your fucking victories again. In 1985.
I don't have.
I tell you, I invented the fucking blah blah blah. Yes, dude, you have. That's how I think about that.
Welcome to our show.
I love it. Thank you guys for letting me be here.
Absolutely. Did you have something you want to get off your chest?
A little bit, okay, I'm a little hot because I had to do some stuff when I got into the studio because I come in here.
Forgive us.
And the table is in another spot. The board is on a chair. And there's a cord wrapped around the chair leg to the board. So that means if you move it and you don't see that it's attached to the chair leg, that's popping out of your hand and smashing on the ground. Also, several fucking TV remotes and a pen on the board. Touching the buttons.
I honestly, I don't know how you defend yourself from that.
It's not gonna. So anyway, it's all tangled. All the microphone cords are all tangled. Everything is disrespected. So I go, Seth. Because I'm about I love Seth, but somebody who works here in your fucking department is getting chewed out by Jason. In a pleasant way, I'd be like, look, seriously, you can't treat the equipment like that. That's ridiculous. And then Seth goes, yeah, that's your boy Tony. So you did that. What kind of a rush are you in, man?
I was in an extreme rush.
Right.
In my defense, if I may.
Good luck.
I've been running nonstop because I leave for Europe on Monday and trying to get all this stuff finished, and it's all back to back. We literally came here to meet Oksana at 7:30 a.m.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
No, but also,
so it's kind of your fault.
Do something right after this.
Totally
no.
I take full responsibility.
I don't want that. I want him to apologize because it's look.
I wasn't trying to throw him under the bus.
I've been to therapy.
Here's what happened. And then I have to do all this press for Mattel.
Yeah.
A big thing with Mattel. And I needed a background.
Yeah.
For Zoom.
You couldn't use the vert ramp.
No.
Okay.
This is also my office, by the way.
Yeah, okay, that was a good argument. Fair enough.
Okay.
Continue.
This is my office. This is actually the table where we're supposed to have meetings and stuff. So I do utilize it in that sense sometimes. Okay. But I needed a clean background. I needed more distance from the wall here. So I moved the table out. I had to clear it off the table. I put the soundboard over there. I don't remember putting the remotes on the soundboard. Perhaps that happened. And then I also, this one is probably not as defendable. I use these lights for my lighting.
Well, the lights still work, so I don't have a problem with that. But is this the bit where I'm supposed to say I accept your apology? So I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure I got one. Right.
That's it.
But look, let me tell you.
Can we just agree or disagree about this?
No, I have to tell you how I feel because I don't want any resentment. I feel like when you tangle the cords and you put the board on the chair, that you don't care about the show.
I care about the show.
You tell up into therapy. I have to tell you that because I don't want to have any resentment.
Okay, all right.
So there it is. I feel like you don't care about the show when you do stuff like that.
Apologize for disrupting the cables and the soundboard and the table.
I totally accept your apology. Let's continue. Let's have a great show. You know?
Yes.
Hey, Oksana, how are you? Good to see you.
Oh my gosh.
Coming.
Thank you. I feel like I'm on cloud 9 right now.
I read your book. It is riveting, fascinating, inspiring, and I recommend everyone read it. And we don't have to go into every single thing on it, so you don't ruin it for people. But was it hard to get into all the details of your story?
Yes, absolutely. And it was one of those things when it was said, I was like, oh my God, it kind of hits you like all the people that you know, like, ooh, I don't know if I actually want them to know these parts now about me. Because I'm afraid that's going to like change the way like they view you and don't want it to be like they see you as like what happened to you, what you've been through, and kind of thing. But at the same time, there's some things I've never shared with anyone either that it was very therapeutic. I don't know, like when you went through your process.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wasn't sure if you knew, but everything you're saying right now is like totally. I totally get that.
And then so it's coming out in February in 2023, and so I just got the first. I forgot what it's called, the advanced copy. So before it's fully edited, and it looks like a book, and you're like, shit
just got real.
happening. Yeah, shit just got real. This is now like out in black and white, and it's.
Well, I think you also did keep your boundaries set. You didn't share every single thing, so I think that you can rest easy with that. Yeah. But the whole story, start to finish, is just it captivates you, and I mean, just being in the orphanage and coming to America, and then getting your legs amputated. I'm doing the summary of all of it. And then finding sports. Yeah.
I mean, so I always say like that, like, so my mom saved my life because, I mean, it's out there. They know, like, when I was adopted, I should not have lived past 10 years old, and I was starving to death and not in the best conditions. And she saved my life that time, and then she saved my life by opening the door of sports for me. But then sport is what ultimately saved my life in that way, because it was in the middle of going through amputations. And
you found sport in the middle of surgeries to amputate your legs.
Yeah, I started right beforehand. Like I was always
What was the thing that you were...
Rowing.
Okay, so you already found that.
Yeah, and at that time I had one prosthetic leg and one real leg still.
Okay, so you had already had a leg amputated. Yeah. So you knew what it was like.
Exactly.
And was that a good thing to look forward to or a bad thing?
Well, I was 9 years old, and kids are so resilient. Like I had no idea when I came to America. I thought they said you're gonna get a new leg. Yeah. Brand new legs. And I thought it was gonna be us getting like your guys' legs, like my legs, not the things that I take off every night. Right. But that amputation, like it was a few months before I was up and walking my leg again.
I have to go back just for a second because you passed it like it was nothing, but you said that like when you were in the Ukraine, you were starving and you had your legs.
I had both of my legs then.
And how did could you walk? Like how did they operate?
Well, that's what like the doctors in America, like when my mom took me to the office, she was like, how do I stop her? I was carried in because I was so small and it was easier. So she just like was carried in, put on the doctor's like the office or the table, and so the doctor never saw me walk. And he's like, "Oh yeah, her legs like we're gonna have to amputate them and blah blah blah." She's like, "Well, how do I stop her from moving around and jumping in right now?" And he looked at me like, "Well, she can't walk. Look at her legs." Because I didn't have any of the tibias at all, the main weight bearing bone.
Yeah.
And I had a fibia, but it looked like a salt shaker. It was just like, and when you take the X-ray, so it wasn't a full bone. It was very.
So you couldn't walk.
So in theory, I should not have been able to walk.
You were walking.
She could.
But as a survival mechanism in Ukraine, like I had to get around somehow. I didn't have a wheelchair, and my leg was like when at that 7.5 when I was adopted, around like 5-6 inches longer than my other one.
When you say you were hungry, you remember it.
Yeah.
So you remember being like 6 and 7, and like try to explain to me how do you not get food? Who can't get the food? Is it who in the family is?
So when I was born, I was put up straight for adoption. So I lived in 3 different orphanages.
Okay.
And in Ukraine, the way they do it is you're from birth to 3, you're in one orphanage.
Okay.
3 to 5, you're in another orphanage.
Okay.
And then at 5 years old, you're considered an adult. So you move into the adult orphanage. From 5 to 16, they kick you out of the orphanage.
Okay.
And if you're not adopted, then you go on the street or the military kind of thing. So it's the last orphanage that I remember the most of, and that's where a lot.
And what's that like? What's a day-to-day in there?
Not the best, to be honest. Like it's not.
It sounded brutal.
Yeah, and that's why like when my mom, like what I say in the book, like it was really interesting learning her experience too, because my experience, I didn't know any different. It was my everyday, my normal, but seeing her, so when the day she came into the orphanage to get me, the pipes bursted and it was so cold that they leaked and it was frozen. You could see your breath. And so like, that's the first thing she saw was people like chipping away in the ice, and it was so dark in there. The lights were not on often because electricity was out. And I say starving to death because I was almost 8 when I came to America. And when my mom came to Ukraine, I was 34 pounds, 36 pounds, 34 inches tall. And so it was very much like a healthy 3-year-old instead of trying 8. And that was 36, like standing on my tall leg too.
Yeah.
So that last orphanage was a government ran orphanage. So they called it like internat. And it was a small village. And so there was really 300 plus kids there, but a lot of them had families. So they would just go and their families pay the government money and they stay there. It's like a boarding school, but not like the boarding school you think of.
Right, because it's not, no one's really looking out for you guys.
Well, for them, but then on a different wing of that, in a different building, was the orphanage where the kids had no families at all. So on holidays, those kids could go home whenever they wanted to, but the orphans lived there. And that is the stuff that a lot of the really scary things were happening and things like that.
Could you walk then still?
Yeah. I walked and I was the smallest, so I had like some of the bigger kids would give me piggyback rides and stuff.
Okay, so you had some friends.
I had friends.
Yeah.
There's a part, I talk about my friend Lady in there that was really, really hard to share. But she ended up passing away in the orphanage and didn't make it out. And in the book, it's a little more detailed, and I think that was like the hardest part to really share.
And you carried her with you all that time.
Yeah. I don't know when you like ride or anything, you just all of a sudden feel like a burst of wind, or all of a sudden you just feel something, and I don't. But to me, it's like I feel that every time I race. And I'm like, who's pushing me? And then there's no one there, and it's just me, and I feel like that's
her friend was very close and protected her a lot in the orphanage, and they would sometimes sneak out and do stuff together.
There was a lot of abuse going on, a lot of physical abuse and lack of food, and she would protect me from that. And she didn't make it out of there, one of the times she was trying to protect me because it was my fault. We were hungry. And
There's no way you can take the blame for any of that. It's just not possible.
well, I'm a klutz. You saw me.
But
Like, I'm a
impossible
klutz.
circumstances. There's no way. Like, and
Yeah.
I understand. You know, I understand that you still feel that way in some way, but you just can't. You can't take that on. It's not. You know, the scenario didn't allow for anything else.
Ordering all your summer essentials with Dash Pass by DoorDash is a great way to get everything you need. And during the summer of Dash Pass, you can save money and access members-only offers that will help you feel easy and breezy all season long. Summer is is in full swing. Celebrate beginning during summer of Dash Pass by DoorDash. I'm excited about Dash Pass. Well, I didn't know about Dash Pass. I feel like I'm telling you as I find out at the same time. Do you order DoorDash, but wish you could save? But wish you didn't have to pay delivery fees. Yeah. Well, dreams come true, everybody. During summer of Dash Pass, you can save money and enjoy new member-only offers every week. Whoa! On top of 0 delivery fees all year round. What the? That's freaking awesome. You guys are idiots if you don't use my promo code. Listen, you idiot. Shine bright during DoorDash summer of Dash Pass and get 50% off, man. 50% off your first order up to $15 value. Use promo code WOLF at checkout when you spend $12 or more. That's 50% off, everybody, your first order up to $15 value when you sign up for DoorDash during Summer Dash Pass using promo code WOLF. Don't forget, the code is WOLF for 50% off, everybody, off your first order up to $15 value. Listen to me. There's a certain confidence that comes with being properly groomed. It's an aura, a vibe, if you will. You can just tell the way that you carry the way they carry themselves. We call it BGE, Big Groomed Energy. And there's only one way to get BGE, and that's Manscaped. We'd like to introduce you to their best and biggest ultimate hygiene bundle yet. The Platinum Package 4.0. Boom! From Manscaped. It's the leader in below-the-waist grooming. Now trust them with the rest. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off. Free shipping with the code Manscaped. These guys are the guys. If you have hair and you don't want it, you need a Manscaped. You need to join us. Join me in having... How's my pubes, Katie?
Perfect.
See? That's what's up, Tony. I'm not asking you. 20% off, free shipping with code HawkWolf at manscaped.com. That's 20% off, everybody, and free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code HawkWolf. Unlock your big groomed energy with Manscaped. And remember, when you trim the hedges, the trees stand taller.
Yeah, your mom, her journey was amazing. Coming from America and fighting through the bureaucracy
Oh my gosh.
of Ukrainian paperwork and stuff.
And being a single woman adopting too, she had to take so many, because in that time in 1997 when she was trying to adopt me, well, I guess 95 really, but it took 2 years, so she got me in 97. And you had to, in adoption paperwork, put a male, like a father down. And so they were questioning her and like making her take all these psychiatric tests, like why aren't you married, what's wrong with you, and all these things. And just like reading her story, and that's what this book has, like a lot of her that I was learning for the first time too. And that was, I only knew from her like saving me from the orphanage and giving me this life, but I didn't know her story and the process of it.
Wow.
And she just,
It's just like her resilience
It
and
sounds like an
determination
amazing
was
lady.
unreal. I mean, at every turn, it'd be like, this isn't going to happen.
yeah.
I can't make it happen. I can't do all the stuff. And then she would have to drive to a different city to get other papers to come out.
Yeah, it's because
It's
it was
wild.
annoying because it was like, because I was in Ukraine, in Khmelnytsky, where it's Western Ukraine. So they're very prominent only speaking Ukrainian. So when the paperwork was translated in Russian, the local government people were like, this is in Russian, this is unacceptable, we're not going to accept it. So she had to redo everything, and then the paperwork expired, and it was just like,
So they don't make it, like, they try to make it incredibly hard for anybody to save you guys.
yeah. And then
On top of the conditions.
Yeah.
Just figured out a way to torture children as best as possible.
I don't know if that was the intent.
It just
There was just
ends
some
up
bad
being like
eggs.
that.
Yeah, there's just some bad people that just take advantage of really bad situations.
So when you get here, you find rowing. Is that your mom? Like, how'd you find rowing?
It was my mom, but I hated it at first because
That's what's fascinating. When you read the story, it was like, I mean, you
No.
speak for yourself, but it was just more like, okay, it's something to do.
Right. So your mom, did she row?
No, my mom and I could not be any more opposite. She loves reading and like.
Because she was like, you should row.
She wanted me, so we moved from Buffalo, New York, because when we came first, we lived in Buffalo, and then we had to move when I was 13 and moved to Louisville, Kentucky because of her job. And she was like thinking that this could help give me like make new friends and community, and sport is like one way of doing that. But the way it was introduced to me is adaptive rowing. And at that time I had one prosthetic leg and one real leg. No, I'm not gonna do something that's adaptive rowing just because I'm missing a leg. Doesn't mean I have to do an adaptive sport because of that.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if that's because I'm 13, opinionated, and thought like,
Yeah.
you don't want to be in that odd group. And I wanted to be in my, like, play, like, on a dance team. And, like, my mom fought for me for, like, the dance team, which didn't work out because everyone thought, and volleyball team in school, they thought my leg was a liability for other girls instead of me having the right access to participate in the sports.
How is it a liability to someone else?
In case it would fly off and hit down.
How would it fly?
Oh my God.
So it's just...
Dickheads.
Yeah, and it's changing. There's like some schools in some states that are making it more inclusive for people with disabilities and prosthetic limbs or wheelchairs to be included, but it's still a fight and battle. But then my mom was like on, she's like, just try it. And I'm just like, fine, stop asking me. If I try it, will you stop?
Yeah.
Little did I know I was gonna fall in love with it.
How long did it take for you to fall in love with it?
About 3 minutes. From when I
So-
sat down on a dock and got on the boat and felt the water underneath.
Yeah. So then what is it, just obsession, and then you just can't stop rowing, and how long before you're like, you know what, I'm pretty quick?
No, it was not. I still didn't. It took me a long time to realize I was good in sports. And for me, like, that's what I started out as sports was just my therapy. Because I just moved from Buffalo to Kentucky, and I just was told I'm going to have a second leg amputated, and just let us know when you're ready, but it's between this window. So you have to give us a date. And it became my therapy. And at that time, I suppressed so many memories that were coming back from Ukraine that I pretend like it didn't happen. But then I would wake up and my bed was full of sweat and just like nightmares. And it became a place for me to just like, you don't have to speak. And then I hated to, like, my mom took me to therapists and I'm like, oh yeah, she's gonna have to have therapy for the rest of her life. She's gonna have medication for the rest of her life to be normal, and just she's got a lot of like stuff going on because of what happened in there. For me, it was my escape, where I could just like on the oars like pull that tug.
Only thinking about one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, it's like letting your body speak for you and letting you scream without having physically to scream.
Yeah.
And just let all of the anger out.
Yeah.
And so that's what I didn't know I was an athlete. I didn't know I was doing a sport.
Because when did you decide to be a competitor? Because it sounds like you loved it, and then you became like passionate about rowing, the sport. So I guess you like sport that like ties into it. But when did you decide? Oh, I want to win and beat people.
It was like later on, the directors of the Louisville Adaptive Rowing Club, they were like, you have a future, you're young, you can go to the Paralympics. And I had no idea what the Paralympics was. And I ended up Googling it. And I was like, what?
Isn't that you
So
and I are
great,
just
yeah.
like, that's really strange.
So great. But
I
your
guess that
journey,
you-
I mean, it's
you
not
could.
unlike people finding skateboarding because they find that escape and they don't consider it a sport.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, this is my freedom, this is where I feel good, and then suddenly it's like, wait, you can compete? You can
Yeah.
This is a thing you do for a living? That's weird.
Yeah.
But it's really fascinating that that's how you fell into it just because you loved it so much and you did have a run of success.
I got very, very lucky, but it took a long time because I love the idea of representing something so much bigger than yourself, and you're not like racing as Masters or your hometown, which you get to represent through that, but you have something bigger, which is like USA on your back. Something bigger. And I fell in love with that idea. So I set out to be like, okay, I'm gonna go to the Paralympics in 2008. I found out about it right at the start of 2008. And so long story short, I did not make that team. And I was devastated. And the person that she said, oh, well, you're too small. This is unrealistic goal for you to be an athlete. And when I watched your documentary too, like it resonated so much with your body type and like the skateboarding and how you did it so differently from what other people. And I was like, oh my God, like, because being judged based on you don't have the ideal what they think is perfect in that sport or something.
Right. Yeah, and it's hard to believe in yourself when everyone is telling you that this doesn't work.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you found that zen in doing it, and that trumps everything else.
Well, she just pissed me off. The person
I feel that way too. Is that when people would say it, I was like, whatever. I'm still. You can't stop me.
Yeah.
And then you figured out a way. And yeah, that's the same. I just figured out a way to make it work for my body.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, like, we all have, like, I feel like, yeah, you know what? I don't have this. But because I don't have this perfect ideal body type, I rely so much more this way. So on my technique. And I'm better at this side of things that is sometimes overlooked. And I think we all have different body types and structures, and you have that hidden talent only you have because of the way you are built. And so then I was like, okay, well, in 2012, it was like, I'm going to do everything I can to make that team. I'm going to like prove it wrong, and then also prove like what people think the perfect body type is to do a sport too. And
how many sports do you do? Because aren't you a medalist in more? Well, I don't really like a lot, right?
Different sports at the Paralympics.
Okay, so what are they? Just for everybody to understand.
So I started out in rowing
at
the Paralympic Games, and then transitioned to cross-country skiing and biathlon, which biathlon is
what does cross-country skiing look like?
Okay, so it's not downhill. Everyone thinks like cross-country skiing and you're just like going alpine skiing. You're on skinnier skis. Skis don't have metal edges on them, and you're using your upper body like double pole technique to propel yourself forward. And you go up a hill. You go downhill, but you also ski up the hills.
Oh.
And so there's
when you see the
too much span.
So much work.
It's like a lot of strength, right?
It's a lot of strength. But I love to eat. That's why I do all my sports and endurance sports, because I love to eat. And between my prosthetic legs, I say it's my built-in workout machine too. So I can just burn all the calories and justify all the burritos.
Wow.
And then road cycling was the other sport.
Hawk versus Wolf, are you missing out on your favorite show because it's not available in your region? Trying to keep your private time private? Well, let me introduce you to NordVPN. If you're bored in the US of US Netflix, which I am, why not take a spin in the UK? Hello, I'm Michael Bisping. I would watch him on Netflix. NordVPN. Click the button. Bob's your uncle. You can go global. You can watch Netflix in Japan. I don't know all the countries that have different Netflix, but you can go there with NordVPN. And security-wise, we all love to binge, but privacy is a big deal too. NordVPN keeps your information and encrypted. stay in school, so you never have to worry about your IP or location getting out. I don't even know what an IP is, but I guess I don't want it out. Stay away from my IPs, you guys. Don't forget, there's literally no risk. 30-day money-back guarantee. Give it a try if you like it. Great. If you don't, then they'll refund it. Bob will be your uncle. Check out nordvpn.com/wolf. Get your subscription started today. Thanks, guys.
Cycling and road cycling?
Yeah, so
What's the
road
difference?
cycling, but as opposed to like BMX or velodrome track cycling.
Okay.
So it's just like long distance.
How long?
The Tokyo race course was 68 kilometers.
Oh my
Very, but they go by time because we climbed like 3,000 feet in that.
So altitude as well.
Yeah, anywhere in altitude. But yeah, there's.
Do you
Wait,
train? Go ahead.
Biathlon is with the gun too, right? With the
Yes.
shooting. And did
Wait. Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's the four sports: cross country skiing and shooting, and that started out as a military sport actually. So you ski a lap, and you come into the range, and you hit 5 targets, and for every target you miss, depending on what event it is, you ski a penalty loop before you go out to do the other loop, or if it's the individual, you have a minute per penalty for miss.
Wait, do you win gold in that?
I finally did for the first time this past year in Beijing.
When you win gold in that, does the KGB or like the FBI or something, do they come in and say that they want to like hire you
No.
to like do a job? No, that's never happened. You can't just tell
we
us.
have a top secret mission for you.
This phone will explode in 15 seconds. You know what I mean? Nah, that hasn't happened.
Not yet.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Miss Periwinkle.
Uh,
So I know I don't have all these facts correct, but you were training. Was it for Beijing or was it the Olympics before that?
So if it's in the book, it's Pyeongchang. Yeah. It's
Pyeongchang.
Yeah.
You were training for it and dislocated your elbow,
Yeah.
slipping on the ice in a parking lot.
Yes. On
Right
a
before.
parking lot that was an accessible handicap parking lot too.
In training.
Okay, this is the thing. Is like I fall all the time.
Okay, just take us through that because you were in the mountains training, right?
Yes, we were in Bozeman, Montana, and we are about a month away from leaving a month away from the games starting, the start day of the Paralympics. 2 weeks from leaving for the games in South Korea, and I was walking and I fall all the time. I've replayed this over in my head because I'm just still like, why? How does this happen? And when you learn how to walk, the first thing you do is you learn how to fall because it's just the nature of it. You're gonna do it. I'm best friends with the floor. And I I was walking and there was black ice on there, and the way I walk because I'm a double above the knee amputee against the heel touches first, and I can't feel where I'm walking. And so I turn really quickly to get the keys out of the car, and then I extend my arm. Never do that when you're falling. And then I fell, and I didn't know I dislocated my elbow and then ended up fracturing the radius bone either before at that time.
I've done that. Yeah.
Finally have some in common.
But did you know what happened?
Yeah,
I couldn't move it.
Mine came out the back of my arm.
So, yeah, it went this way. And then, I ended up, I couldn't feel it. So, I had to, carry my hand this way. And in the process of it, I think I slid it back in, but I couldn't move it. And I sat there for a very, very long time. And my teammates were with me because we were going to go get brunch.
They saw it.
Yeah, well, so I don't think they knew, what happened. I didn't even know what happened. I felt so many different types of pain. And I'm really good. My boyfriend makes fun of me because I'm like, oh my God, I've got, my arm hurts. Or, I don't know, it feels like razors are coming out of this. And he's like, really, Oksana, have you felt 10,000 razors coming out of your stomach? Is that exactly how it hurts? How do you know? But this pain, I've never felt anything like it. And I've, when I had my second leg amputated, the epidural shifted and numbed the wrong one. So I have a very high pain tolerance, and I know what kind of pain is.
Wait, you can't just say that quickly. The epidural shifted to the other leg.
Yeah, to the leg that was amputated when I was 9.
To the leg was amputated, so you felt them amputating your leg.
Well, when I woke up from the surgery.
When you woke up. Oh, I see. The epidural shifted, and so
yeah, and so like I
woke
felt
up
the
in that pain.
In that pain, my leg was just amputated. It was in a cast, and they were telling. No, so I was 14. That was my second amputation.
Whatever.
So, and then my
still feeling
mom, I was saying
28. I don't care. That's ridiculous.
Well, the doctors were saying how like she has a low pain tolerance. Like she just likes to give her medication times. Those days before they actually trusted me too. Like it wasn't working, and then they realized my whole left side was numb. I couldn't move it, but this one was having like the spasms and moving everywhere. And what was hurting is because it was a last minute change in the surgery from below the knee to above the knee. They didn't plan enough, so it was an open hole because the suture opens and you can see the bone.
What? You're so awesome.
No, so I say all that.
That's the sickest shit ever. You just won so hard. Yeah, well done.
I only say that because, okay, so I knew that pain, and so I knew a different levels of pain, but I never felt this type of a pain before, so I knew there's something wrong.
Yeah.
But you proceeded to have brunch.
I proceeded to go have brunch, and the only way
As you do.
We should hang out.
Brunch, first of all, you don't skip brunch and mimosas and coffee.
I would like to fight a bunch of people with you. You know what I mean? Like, you and I got to get out of here.
I am pretty scrappy.
We got to kick some ass first, you know? I feel like we do well.
I had a feeling this might happen.
Yeah. Holy shit, that's the toughest story I've ever heard in my life.
But then, like, the only reason I knew, like, I actually decided to call and, like, I should get this checked out is I'm a huge coffee drinker. I love coffee, and I have not taken a sip of it at all. And it's, like, 30 minutes into everyone's having their food, and I'm just like, I think I have to go in. There's something not right. And it was getting hotter and tighter, and then I couldn't move my arm. And I couldn't feel my fingers. Went in, got the worst case scenario news that you can't compete at the games at all. Like, you ended up in the process of dislocating it, ripped off the ligaments and fracturing the...
Is that the scar?
Yeah! But I love this! So, because I have screws in here.
Yeah.
Same.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god! The same scars!
I didn't dislocate my neck. And I didn't have brunch afterwards. I broke mine and went straight to the hospital. For the record.
Oh my god.
And they numbed it and you still were in pain.
And they numbed it and I went under and they screwed it in and I probably cried a lot.
Oh, but like I love these scars because they're finally scars they're like badass scars and I'm proud to say.
Have you ever fought a shark?
No.
Right.
But I
the
planned
story
about
continues.
it and I'm gonna
Maybe next on the list.
It gets more metal. Just wait.
Go, do it.
Why?
Be more metal.
No.
Then what happened?
Yeah, but I'm
Your story. What happened? How did?
well, so like, yeah, they say like I went to a lot of doctors and they say that like it's over, you're not going to.
They always. What is that? Why do they always say that?
But how far away are you from the games?
The start of the games at that point is 3 weeks for the start of the games.
Wait.
And then
the games is 3 weeks away. Her elbow is dislocated.
Wait, this story ends in you being in the Olympics still?
I ended up, yeah. And what was scary is this is the first time I was going in, finally, like, I didn't have any sponsors. Like, so, London, Rio, and Sochi, I had no sponsors. I slept out of my car trying to pursue these dreams, and I was entering these games, finally with someone believing in me, and I had sponsors. And not only that, but finally for the first time, my 4th Paralympic Games, I believed I could be a gold medalist and worthy of achieving it and actually not just dreaming it. Because of the year before, I won my first World Championship gold medal. And so things were finally starting to go up in my athleticism and my sports. And then that happens, classic, because why not just really put that nail in the coffin? And, but my coach, Eileen Carey, she was like, we're going to go get a second opinion, and went to the Vail Stedman Clinic, and that doctor said, yes, we can do it, but you're going to risk potentially never using that arm again and getting permanent nerve damage, if you want to risk it, this is the plan. You have to follow it. I'm sure you had the exact same plan of like you want to achieve this goal.
I wasn't heading to the Olympics when I broke my elbow, so not quite, but I feel a fraction of that, yes.
And like, yeah, so I followed that plan. We get into South Korea. We land there, go to team crossing for Team USA and get our clothes and stuff. And then I leave early. Still don't know. I was on snow once to try it to see if I could even. I had this brace to wear that immobilized my arm, and got like cortisone shot in there, and it was supposed to help with the pain. I thought that was going to take away the pain. It did not do anything.
No, I know.
Not one bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That was very. I don't know what I was thinking. But then the start of the game, like the day before, I still didn't decide. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna compete because worst thing can happen is I'm down to one functioning arm, and I've gone this 4 years. I'm not gonna waste 4 years of training for this.
Yeah.
I'm sacrificing everything for this, and I just want to see where
Fuck
I am. And so I lined up and went, and I ended up first race getting a silver medal and was not expecting that. And then halfway through the games, I ended up falling because of the snow onto that arm that that's injured.
Yeah.
Re-injured it.
Oh.
And that's where the ligaments entirely came off.
Oh,
So like then they said it's over. But what was devastating were two best events. So cross country skiing, the sprint was the next day. And they got x-rays and everything, and like, it's over. And at that time I had 2 silvers, a silver and a bronze medal. And then my nightmare is getting a DNF, like not finishing. Because I don't care if I'm dead last, I'm going to finish that race if I'm dead last coming across it. And so it was heartbreaking not to finish it. And then I'm just rambling on, but yeah, long story short, like, I don't care. I want to race the sprint. I know I'm probably going to get dead last. I just want to race it. So they went and taped my arm up, locked it in this position. And I was like, so I couldn't use my arm. And the next day, so I had one off day. We practiced on the erg. The next day was the sprint. And that was the race I got my first gold medal in at the Paralympic Games.
Can I hug you?
You don't have to hug me.
I want to. Though. Holy shit!
But isn't
Holy shit, you guys! Nobody's more D's. You're the. I don't know anybody tougher than you.
No.
I don't know how you do that. I mean, I get it.
You guys, are you kidding me?
Yeah, but I feel like I even have an understanding. I've tried to do what you did in a different. I've had an injury where I was like, I don't care. I'm going in it. I care so much, and I couldn't do it. My leg didn't work. I blew my knee out, and I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna still be in it. And I had Barry Zaritsky ice in it, and then I taped it in all this crazy way, and then I went to pump. And I snapped my ACL off.
Oh, gosh.
So when I went to pump, it didn't do anything. It didn't matter what I said. My leg was like, "You're not in the contest." Like, and I remember being so devastated.
And it's heartbreaking. You worked so hard for that, and then just always like out of your control, just like that. Just like
but you didn't. You managed to make it work, and I'm like, I could say it's just your arm, but it's like that's half of your. That's how you get there.
Yeah, because when I ski, I take my legs off. I don't use my legs, so I rely on it. And because of my anatomy, I ski very differently, anyways. But
were there any alternates that were on the sidelines?
No, because you only earn your spot. So that means if I didn't race, like that spot.
No one else gets it. Okay, I was wondering if there are people like, are you kidding me? You're really gonna do it?
How is your...
Yeah. Well, I think like everyone was really nervous because exactly what that doctor said was I would ruin my arm.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Was there any...
Yeah, so I ended up... the ulnar nerve was busted and like also like was very, very loose. So I can't use... Not that I could use my hands to begin with very well. But I lost the function like in these 2 pinkies and like can't use it really well at all.
So do they feel numb or you just can't move them? They feel numb.
Yeah, numb, and I can't I can move them, but they're not as strong. They're weak. And
are there any regrets about that?
No.
Fuck yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I figured not, but I had to ask.
Not one single, because like, you know, there, I was I was watching The Birth of Big Air or something documentary, and Matt Hoffman said something about like how it's exactly like you guys live this way too. Like you push your bodies, and like your body is just like this thing that you're just living. And you said something along the lines, I forgot how, but like that you push it to an extreme, like you don't. I want to leave this earth like knowing I did everything I could with my body, and just like not leave it all. Like I want the scars. I want this because I lived it to the fullest, and that's like what he was basically saying, and that resonated with me. I'm like, this is just skin and bone. It's gonna heal. If it doesn't heal, so what? I want to know no what ifs.
The dragons.
I feel that. I could have done without my current scar. I'd be okay without that one, but yeah, I feel you.
I don't know, but yeah, it's pretty.
That story got that story got me so much because I'm reading it and I knew you were successful, but I didn't know all the details of it. And then when I was reading, I was like, oh, that sucks. She couldn't get to the Olympics. I was like, oh, she's going. That's pretty hardcore. And she won, and
I did it and couldn't make it. I got knocked out in a contest, in an X Game ESPN contest, and I shattered my wrist. So when I woke up, I realized my wrist was shattered, and they tried to take me to the ambulance, and I was like, nah, I'm going to finish this contest. Because it was the first and only time in my career where if I made my ride, I was going to win. And that's never happened to me. So I was like, make your ride. I didn't even realize that I couldn't use that hand anymore, but I taped it up with duct tape and tried to do my last ride, and my wrist moved. And it just made my legs collapse. And then I said, okay, you can I will now get in your ambulance. But I wanted that so bad. But when it went, and then my legs went, and I just skidded across the flat like, okay, I'll go. Because there was so much pain. The drive to feel that much pain, like even to fall on it and then re-hurt it and then don't know it's not over, get up, still go. That's like not I'm a driven person. Obviously, he's maybe a little more driven than me. And then you might make him look like a toddler, like sucking on his thumb when it comes to drive.
Not true. Oh my God.
No, that's another level. And I feel like and you should take that, because if anyone would know about, me caring about doing well and being in pain, we know. And that is, I've even had this,
but I'm
I've
lucky
dislocated
that I was able to get it. Like, it was my elbow, and I think obviously if it was my knee or something, like it would have been very, very different for sure. So I'm very, very lucky. But I think it's,
I don't know if it's luck. I feel like it's more drive, and you just seem like a furious soul. Like I feel like you said, like you don't care what your body's trying to do to hold you back, you're going to go for it. I feel like that's the same with everybody. Like if your soul is like, because I burn to rip. You know what I mean? Like I live to fucking fly around, and my biggest fear is like every year I'm like, oh, wow, I'm really sore today. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow, what's it like next year? Like, how much sore can a person get before they quit? Because you know what I mean? If I wake up in the morning and go, the pain.
We'll let you know exactly.
Like, why would I go? Yeah. Why would I go?
I'm already feeling bad though, I think. But that's why I wanted to write this book, because I think for me, like, going through that whole process was in those races, I think in some ways, what I went through in Ukraine and what I fought through and survived through was what I needed to get through the games in this moment.
Right.
And it's like I couldn't see it in that whole grand scheme of how life works out and why you're dealt the cards you dealt. But maybe because 30 years later, it's to help you in this moment.
It's a very therapeutic way to look at it.
Yeah.
I get that, because it's like some things happened to me in my childhood that I think made, when things got tough, they didn't seem that tough to me because I've been through worse.
Right.
And I feel like that helped. I mean, does that mean like, wow, thanks everybody that did that to my childhood?
Yeah, that gets dicey when you look at it. It's everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
not so much. But
I know.
we endure them. We endure these things.
Yeah, but it for you, that you're right, because I don't think a lot of people could.
But that's our journey for sure. And I feel that way on a smaller scale in that I was bullied as a kid, and that made me resilient to all this criticism.
Yeah.
Even today, like people talk shit on social media, whatever. I'm like, dude.
Outside noise.
Yeah, it's just noise. Absolutely. And your story is just it's so inspiring that you made it through, and you're just coming off of the ESPYs where you were nominated for
3 ESPYs.
3 ESPYs.
Which is the first time a Paralympic athlete or an adaptive athlete has been nominated.
Yes.
It's crazy to have, like, in the census to get, like, nominated for the same amount of ESPYs as Stephen Curry was, because he was nominated for 3 ESPYs.
Yeah.
And one of the craziest ones was Best Female Athlete, which just...
With all the other able-bodied athletes.
Yeah,
Wait, you didn't win?
No, because
Who beat you?
Katie Ledecky, rightfully so. But
She's a swimmer.
Yeah.
So what? Did her fucking arm come off? What are you talking about?
Katie Ledecky had an incredible...
Did she dodge a shark while she was in there? Did it bite off her leg and she was like, I'll still keep going, and then won the fucking gold with half a leg? No.
But
Get
it's
out of
incredible.
here.
She had an incredible Tokyo Games. And then, like, I mean, I don't know how she's doing it, but then she's, like, setting her own records, beating her own records, and resetting records, and she's an incredible athlete.
I'm not saying that's not incredible. I'm just saying, what's up?
I got,
That's what I'm saying.
I was pretty, like, I don't even know, because, like, I competed in Tokyo, and then 6 months later, Beijing, and to go from 2 gold medals in Tokyo, and then 7 medals in Beijing was insane.
Yeah.
But it was just, what's
7
amazing...
medals.
But that's what I mean. Just you're breaking through these glass ceilings where you were nominated with everyone else,
Yeah.
and that that's a huge milestone.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, in, like, the adaptive community, and for, like, I feel like with skateboarding and, like, the sports I do, they're, like, out in the US, it's like football, track and field, swimming, like soccer. Those are what's considered sports, and so they're not as highlighted and so underrepresented in the US. And seeing, like, for me, in cycling, cross country skiing, it's still, like, people don't know what it is, and it's so frustrating. And so to be able, when they're doing a little montage of all the nominees, someone's gonna see that sport of cycling and see that bike, that just hand cycle, and sitting down and skiing alongside Katie Ledecky or Suni Lee doing gymnastics.
Oh, it's huge.
Candace Parker.
It's hugely important.
And see the word Paralympics.
Absolutely.
It's just an exciting time.
It is. Well, like Felipe Nunez, who is a skater, double amputee, and he's in town right now for X Games because he's going to enter the best trick. So he's not entering best trick adaptive. He's in the best trick, and he's probably going to do well.
Yeah.
Because people,
but people do recognize that too.
Yeah.
Just best trick. So you don't have to do best trick with a disability or, like, that, like, line.
Yeah, there's no asterisk.
Because that's the other category, third category for the ESPYs I was nominated was best athlete with a disability. And I just even hate writing it and saying it because
it's like, I'm the only gay guy that ever did the loop, and if everybody made a big deal about that, I'd be like, really?
Yeah.
Wait, did my gayness make it more difficult? I was not aware of that.
You're the first.
I was. I'm the only. Wait, who gay looped? I'm the gay looper, right?
I like the pause. Wait.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm the gay looper. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I might start my own show, The Gay Looper. That's great. Yeah.
Or, like, that's your Chiron, your title when they interview you. Jason Ellis, Gay Looper.
Jason Gay Looper Ellis for, like, my fighting name. You know, people are like the Pitbull or whatever, like Gay Looper. It makes total sense even when you don't get it. I look like a gay looper, whatever that is. No.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Love it. This is the best moment of my life.
We did some skating before this.
Yeah, we taught you kick turns in like
that was pretty cool.
3 minutes.
I feel so bad. I feel like I disappointed you.
What are you talking
hear
about?
it now at all.
How does that work?
And I sweated all over your ramp. I'm so sorry.
He
I've
sweats.
done much worse on the ramp.
But
sweat, blood, tears.
I have a sweating problem. Like when I'm here you know I'm here because there's.
He changes shirts a couple times during his set.
No, do you know?
I make wet puddles wherever I stand.
My boyfriend at the ESPYs had a cloth walking behind me, tapping my back because I was sweating. I
need my wife to do that. That is a good idea.
There are times when he is probably the worst offender of that.
Yeah.
There are times when he falls and then he leaves a trail
I clean the
of
ramp.
sweat, and you have to avoid that part of the ramp on your next run because it's too slippery.
Oh my gosh.
That's a real thing that happens here.
Yeah. All right.
so don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. This day started. We got here early, and each day started with you getting on the skateboard. Like, I don't know. Well, how should I sit on it? How should I go sideways? Should I do this? And it ended with you doing a backside kick turn to a frontside kick turn.
Yeah. You're making it seem like I actually nailed this and I did it. And
it's
like a chopped up version.
I can't.
You did.
No one has ever come here and not been on a skateboard and then did 2 kick turns.
Yeah.
That's never happened.
Yes. You need to take it. You're
Your
awesome.
skateboard. That's
what happened.
We gave you skateboard.
That was.
We're gonna give you one of these too.
Oh my gosh.
This is our not so subtle way of promoting that we still have these available, but we are giving you these.
All right.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna literally on the plane take my legs off and just roll on.
That's what Felipe does.
Really?
That's what he gets on the airport, yeah. When he doesn't have his legs.
And they're okay with it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Felipe went to Denmark for the Copenhagen Open.
Yeah.
Wild.
And he flew there, and then he has those new prosthetics that he's been using.
Yeah.
But because he skated so hard and he fell a bunch, his legs were swollen, so they didn't fit in him. So he had to check him in his bags. And lost them.
That's cool.
They've been gone for 3 weeks.
Not getting it back.
Who knows?
Who sells the legs?
It's not they sell them. They're just.
They didn't lose it. They never lose the bag.
I think
took the bag. That's how it goes. What, fell out in the air, fell out the door?
Opening the bag though and just seeing a leg, who does that? How do you just?
I mean, but there's this ripple effect for him where he drove his car to Sao Paulo with his legs, and now his car's in Sao Paulo. He can't drive it home. He's on his legs.
You don't have a buddy?
Well, I mean, he's gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah.
But the Davison who helps him, was joking to him. He's like, "Man, you gotta stop losing your legs."
Oh. If you fly me there, I'll drive him home.
Okay. Well, he's coming here actually. He's coming to meet you.
I know, and I really want to tell him my process is because I get how hard it is to the whole process of the socket fitting and and that's what people don't realize when you just lose someone's legs or a wheelchair or a bag or whatever.
It's devastating.
Yeah, well, you don't just go online and order it, Amazon it, and then it's gonna show up. No, it takes.
No, I watched it. He had to go. He had to go to DC. The people that did his prosthetics, they were awesome. He had to go to DC twice. Once for the fitting, and then they were working it out, and then we went back for getting the final legs, and then they actually sent them to him later because they were still tweaking them.
Yeah.
And I thought that he wasn't going to take to them that well, but then he started to really like them and walking through airports and stuff like that, and now they're gone. It sucks.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your offer for help, but I'm stoked that he gets to meet you. And
well, I can't wait to meet him and figure out his tricks and how he figured it out because
you're on your way.
Yeah, he would definitely
but
be
I'm
able to
hooked.
give
I'm
you
literally
Sorry, Aaron, for introducing to another thing.
Oh my gosh. Before house, I'm gonna rearrange the whole
Oh wow.
house. But it's wild. I'm sitting here and I'm a part of me, I'm not gonna lie, is thinking about feeling it and riding the board and just trying to think about how I'm gonna do this trick.
You didn't mention you threw her off the ramp.
No! And I freaked out.
I was just standing there and I look up and Tony just threw her off the ramp.
Oh
literally. Yeah. No legs at all. My legs were gone.
That's kind of what happens when you come here.
We went up to the deck of the ramp.
Yeah.
And I said, "You can slide down this if you want."
Yeah.
And she's like, "How do I do that?" And I explained how you do it. And then I would hold onto her hands. And
throw off the ramp.
She immediately scooted herself to the coping.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, this is happening right now."
I didn't say she didn't want to get thrown off the ramp.
But I don't think throwing is the right verb.
Sounds cool.
Okay.
I got videos. That's what I'm going to do.
Would you say I threw you?
I got video on my phone. I'm going to edit it and show my wife. I'm like, don't you just grab this lady? Threw her off the ramp. Eat parties in the morning. Let me tell you. You got to watch him in the morning. He's frisky.
I feel so bad because you had me. I was like, wait a minute, moment of panic.
Yeah. She said, wait a minute. And then he just threw her, you guys.
The hard part is when people do have a panic, I could have pulled you back up.
Yeah.
Some people I don't have that option with because they're too heavy for me to pull back up. And we were just going. This is happening, we're going. And then they don't want to let go, or they only let go of one side. So then they end up like sliding down sideways, like, ah!
No, I wanted to go. I just didn't want to be like that because I'm a very awkward person. So like I would have like froze or like done something or broken the other arm. I don't know, but so much fun. Like literally just like free falling and like screaming the whole way. It was so fun. And
pretty cool, right?
I wanted to do it again. But my hair weighs a lot, so I'm not gonna have you like keep holding me there and like dropping me down. Keep
using that one.
Yeah, what is it?
It's a lot. Because I downsize and take my legs off.
Is your hair ever an issue with any of the sports?
No, not really. Cycling's the only time when you have to wear the ugly time trial helmets and trying to like.
Did you have to do the shooting with your elbow like that?
Yes. That was what was really, really hard. So when I shoot in Pyeongchang with a broken elbow and getting down into position, the day before the biathlon race, like my coach spent forever trying to create a donut because I couldn't weight bear on this arm.
Yeah.
You know, like you guys both know you can't just like use your arm the same way. And so like getting down on the floor and then flipping around, they created this massive donut that like off-weighted the weight. But when I shoot, so it's an air rifle, because person with a disability in Japan cannot use a firearm at all. And so like in the Paralympics, they try to cater to all these countries that have access to that sport. Yeah. And that's the only way to do it was with the air rifle. So it's an air rifle, 10-meter range, a 13-millimeter target. So like when you watch it on TV, you see the black, but it's not the full black. It's like inside of it, a dime can go in there, and that's what you hit.
Is the air rifle powerful enough to keep the bullet straight, or does it drop a little bit?
Like the actual rifle? No, like you still
like you have to time it. You have
to aim differently.
No, it's just
is it your gun?
Yeah. Okay. So I have like a weird looking gun because of my hands too, and so what people don't realize is when I shoot, I can't feel the trigger finger, and so when you're on position, you don't want to let go of the gun to rebolt. You hold on, and then you use the finger that you shoot with to rebolt because you're shifting position and to find your natural point of aim again. And so I don't actually feel the trigger. And this is not because I broke my elbow. This is just because, one of the many million radiation things that caused me to have my birth defects. And the way I do it when I shoot the gun is I contract my forearm, and that's how I pull the trigger back. And so
she's pulling her arm back instead of hitting the trigger.
Not pulling it, just like tightening. So if you
tightening, okay.
So if you just like tighten your forearm, like that's how I do it. And that's because I can't feel.
And that gives your finger enough movement.
Yeah, like just the pressure. And so like I don't have that third joint. So like you would be like shooting with like this joint right here, but I'm doing it with that. And so
I see.
It's just,
so is it the trigger touchy or less touchy for?
For me, it's like it's normal because it's standard. There's like a range. You can't have it too soft because then it will just.
But you have to hold the target longer because of that.
I have to reposition every time. So like instead of just getting in position and just like shooting, and it's smooth, I have to find my natural point of aim every time. So when you do biathlon, the clock is on you. It takes a while, and in the Paralympics, they don't give you. You get different classifications are based on your core function, but they don't actually consider your hand dexterity in that sport at all. So I definitely am working against some things in some ways, but I rely on my skiing. So they're like, well, you're doing well. So they don't really care about trying to make it fair for everyone. Because there's some other athletes that have hand dexterities that can't do that sport. But yeah, that definitely made it very challenging having
But you still managed to win.
So I got, I think, second. Yeah, and that was crazy because that next biathlon.
Second in that event.
Second in that event, but that was the first time I cleaned. Cleaning means you hit all your targets.
Oh, okay.
30
that's sick.
30 means like you miss a target. The stage is
Okay.
And it was the one where you have minute penalties. And I was so shocked that I cleaned because I was like, oh my God, I cleaned.
Wait, if you miss, you have to wait a minute? Oh, they just take the minute. Oh, they just add a minute.
To your time at the end. That my coach was like, just go ski, or whatever. I'm like, I cleaned. Oh my God, I cleaned. And I was freaking out.
Your coach is there?
Yeah, you're a biathlon coach because you have, he scopes and watches shots. You can't communicate on the range. He can't tell you where the wind is or where your shot was from the first shot to the fifth shot. So when I was going back on course, he left the range to tell me where I was and give me my splits.
How do you know where the wind is?
There's wind flags and you have to know. You either take clicks or you shade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Next level.
KGB.
Totally. Dude, so fascinating. Just want to thank you thanks for sharing your story.
Yeah.
Thanks for writing the story, the hard parts.
Thank you so much for your kind words and the blurb that you did for my book and reading it. It's like,
please.
Literally, I was like, oh my God.
It was the least I could do. It really is it's just riveting.
Do you have an audio book for people that are not great at reading?
There will be an audio
There will
book.
be.
Good.
Yeah.
I'll be ready for that.
How's your Russian these days, or Ukrainian?
Non-existent. I want to learn Ukrainian because I really, really, my goal and my dream is to meet my birth family so bad, and I know that they're alive. I'm in communication with my birth brothers and stuff, but I don't know if I'm actually.
Oh, you have verification they're alive.
Yeah, that's what. So most recently, because the book ends in Pyeongchang, it doesn't cover what happened in Tokyo and beyond, and that's what in Beijing I was going from the podium, going home, and that's all I could think about was in the room was like, am I going to hear from my birth family, my brothers? I haven't heard from my.
That story too, when you went back to visit the orphanage and the guy was kind of swindling you, and he found your family, or
it was so shady how it happened.
It seemed really sketchy, and they were just they were using her as a PR tool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where she just went out of the goodness of her heart to go visit the orphanage, and then they were just saw this opportunity and were doing stuff behind the scenes, and then it just sounded really traumatic.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know at that time I knew I wanted to find my birth family. I was not ready mentally to meet my birth family because I'm thankful for them for giving me away, but I also have a lot of resentment because I just went through some stuff that why?
Yep.
And so you just have to be in the right place to meet them. And it's one of those things, I don't know if you've ever been in something where you're you dream about it all the time, you picture it, but then when you realize it's actually there,
watch what you wish for.
You're like, oh shit, do I really want to do this?
Yeah.
I don't know if I was ready. And I wasn't. And I said, he asked me, do you want to ever meet your family? I said, yes, one day, but only right now, just to know the health records and medicals to know what's gonna what do I look for. Next thing you know, he surprises me to let me know, oh, I just got the phone with your mom and dad, you have 2 brothers, they're ready to meet you right now, and I was supposed to give a talk, and instead I ended up bawling in the US Embassy's guy's office in his room. So it just hit me because I realized oh my God,
that was just such a shady move.
Yeah. And
well, I wish you the best when it happens, and I know you're going to do it when you're ready. And
don't have to.
It'd be amazing. You don't have to.
Yeah, I don't have to, but I want to. I want to know who I got this crazy hairline from in my nose. And my eyebrows. So there's a couple bones I have to pick too. Who was the one that's sweating?
Oh wow! Please check.
I have a
sweating.
Yeah.
Let's go through it.
I have a checklist. Get ready for it.
Well, hey, thanks for joining us. It was really fun. It was fun seeing you skate. It was fascinating hearing your story. I love the book, and you're amazing. And I feel like your future is only brighter. And Aaron, thanks.
Absolutely. You got an Instagram and stuff?
I do.
What is it?
Oksana Masters.
Okay. All right. Like and subscribe.
Thank you, guys. Oh my God. Thank you so much.
You can see our tagline. We see like and describe.
Like and describe?
Like and describe. Into that camera.
Like and describe.
See ya.